Hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the beautiful River Dee and we're in search of silvers on the float. As you can see on screen now, the banks of Bangor have a beautiful place to wet a line. The little village where you go to buy your day ticket, and then as you can see, what a picturesque setting to fish. You join me now down on the bank, and as you can see there's a steady flow off the rod tip. There's one or two fish topping, and you've got that beautiful iconic bridge downstream. For people who followed my fishing for a number of years, they will know I did do a written blog for a number of years. In that blog I did fish the River Dee quite a lot and didn't really go up to the River Ribble for me fishing. Before we do get into the fishing, if you do enjoy the video, please drop it a like down below and subscribe to the channel. There's a brand new fishing video on the channel every Friday at 6 PM. If you do leave a comment, I'll do my best to reply, and thank you to everybody that left nice comments on a recent video where we picked up Willow. She's at home this morning, she can't come out yet, but I can't wait to have her out on the bank with me. Let's waste no time at all and let's make a start. Got all the basics we need: a keep net and a bait waiter. We'll quickly look at the side tray. We've got some red maggot, some corn, we've got some hinders hemp, we've got all the bits and pieces we need there for the day's fishing. Looking at the swim, you can see quite pacey off the rod tip, and it is deep. Got my 17-foot rod today, and you can see the float all the way near the top, and the line is on the first ring down here. You can see it is a deep swim, and that is literally off the rod tip. For anyone new, you can see all the flotsam coming down, always gives the game away. And we're going to be going down this line here and putting my hemp in line here, and be feeding me maggots in front so it's all falling, and hopefully get the bites in this area. We look downstream, you can see the iconic bridge. Looking at the setup, I've gone with my 17-foot Preston carbon active rod. What a servant this has been to me over the years on the River Dee and the River Ribble. I had loads of fish on it. I've got a 1.6 gram fine line afloat, and then I've got halfway down the rig, I've got decreasing numbers of shots. So I've got 5 number 4, 4 number 4 and 3 all the way down to a 3-pound hook link and a tiny size 20 hook. So while I've been setting up, I have been feeding a bit of bait. It is a deep swim, so I don't want to go too far down because that hemp is going to take a bit of time to drop, but I also want my float to be settled by the time it goes over it. I'm not going too far, just feeding 3 pouches of that hemp, cast out with the float. You can see it takes a while to settle. Feeding them maggots, and everything's in that line. Not going too far out because obviously the depth is right in front of me, so starting easy. You can see we can go a little bit further. We're just going over where that hemp is, and the float's settled by the time it gets to that hemp. But feeding is key when you're dealing with this depth of water. Obviously there's a lot of water between you and the bottom, so you don't want to go too mad that you draw the fish up. You want to try and keep them down the swim. There we go. It's the first fish of the day, and it's coming right on that hemp. It's a dace, which is the target species, most definitely. It's taken us a few trots through, but right where we're putting that hemp and in that depth of water is a great start. Start off with, it is just about getting bites and working your swim out. So I'm trying to get into a bit of a routine, casting in front of me, give the time for that float to settle. Little tiny pouch of that hemp just over that area, bring that float into that line of bait and feed your maggots. There we go. See there, an excellent start to be getting bites straight away. It's a slightly better one. There is a slack under here where hopefully there's not Mr. Pike. But yeah, it's what we come for. The silver dart, a dace. And when I first started fishing the River Dee, depth was a thing that really did scare me. We're fishing 14-foot deep swims all the time, and over the years you just get used to it, and the importance of feeding, you know, the heavy baits like hemp downstream just to keep the fish down there. It's almost like you want a flavour of maggots going through the swim. You don't really want to draw them up, but depth should never be a thing that scares anyone. You just got to concentrate your feeding to keep the fish in the area you want them. There's another one. You see, just holding back with that rock that was pulling us under before. If we just navigate past it and hold back over it, we can get past that little rise in the river. I do leave my rod set up between sessions, and on the last one I put up with like a little bit of a loop in my line that was catching. I was sat here thinking, just get out and get it sorted. So I spent about 10 minutes re-rigging up from scratch, got in. The first cast we've had a slightly better dace. So it was a bit of taking my own advice. Then I always say on the channel, something's not right, make a change. And I was sat there putting up with it, and I thought, you know, 10 minutes and it's sorted. And that's a lovely dace that. We've had plenty of bites in the first probably half an hour of the session. Yeah, blue skies. It is a beautiful place to wet a line. And the river ribble really does spoil us when it comes to dace, and I guess today just shows just how spoilt we are. You know, we're catching dace, a chuck, but on the ribble in winter, you know, we're spoilt with that quality that we get all the time. And sometimes you forget it's just about coming out, seeing that float go under and getting a few bites. Like I say, if you want to come and fish here, it's a day ticket, £6, Bangor-on-Dee. You get your ticket from the shop in town. Like I say, beautiful place to wet a line. So I've just hooked into the best fish of the session. It's taken a while to come, and Mr. Pike is about, this is the one you'll probably have. It's a perch. And one thing you can always guarantee on a river is them vibrant colours. In the sun, got all them greens, golds, olives. And as the swim's building, we're just starting to connect with one or two slightly better fish. And that is an immaculate River Dee dace. And I say it every year, we should come back in winter, but it's really hard when the ribble's so good. That float is buried again right on me hemp. Another better fish. It looks like a chublet. So I was beginning to wonder why we brought the landing net with me, but that is definitely the best fish of the day. We did see a big fish underneath the bridge this morning, so maybe Mum and Dad might be about. And people do ask how much bait to feed. I normally this time of year do bring 2 pints of maggots with me, normally some bigger bait like a corn, and I bring about 2 pints of hemp as well. In winter obviously that can go to 3 and 4, but you just got to judge the swim in front of you. You know, we're getting plenty of bites down the swim, so being quite consistent and putting a little pouch of hemp in every other cast and feeding maggots in front of me every trot through. I'm feeding a bit more hemp than I am maggots, because obviously I want to try and keep them down the swim. You see there, just beautiful fishing really. They're a nice distance down the swim, and we're just holding back, and you get that excitement when you get to that spot of expecting a bite. Look down there, the margins are absolutely alive with fry, and people do ask why I feed hemp, you know, so positively for the barbel and stuff like that. If you look down there, them tiny fish are eating every little grain, all the little bits of hemp that are coming off. Everything in the river's eating it. So you can just see there already we've got a ball of fry just coming to them few maggots and a little bit of hemp. When you think about how many of them must be in the river out there, and we're trying to catch the better quality fish, you know, you can feed a bit of bait. And the river, definitely healthy, there's definitely a lot of fry down there. And the real bonus fish today have been these chublet. I've been feeding the maggots a bit heavier. We're getting towards the end of the session, and we've managed to get another one of these chublets on the bank. You can tell it's them because they go inside the undergrowth on the inside. It's been trying to get underneath my keep net. But yeah, you can have a very, very good day if you landed on a shoal of them. And like all the fish today, they've been in immaculate condition, and they have been the better fish, them chublet. Like I say, if you land on a shoal of them, you'd have a very good day. And I'm sure mum and dad are in here too. But maybe it's the colder months when you've got to come back to get them. So as you can see on screen, in the net there's been plenty of bites on what has been an enjoyable day on the bank. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog, joining me on the banks of the River Dee in Bangor-on-Dee. All that remains now is for me to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.